You and I must accept that where there is fire, where there is smoke, there is fire. And somebody said one day that street kids don't lie. And they have very crucial, they normally have very crucial information. I want us to listen to this street boy saying the way he moved 32 bodies, dead bodies during the Genesis demonstration. I don't know whether he's saying the truth. I don't know whether he's lying, but from the look of, from the way the cameraman removed the camera from the boy, it tells a lot. Makes you ask yourself a lot of questions. When he's being asked by Musiri, I don't know whether he was paid. Some people are saying that he has been paid to face the camera. You can't tell me that this boy was paid by Musiri to face the camera and say that he moved 32 bodies. No. And we can't say that he was high. Well, the moment, when you listen to somebody who is very high, hao ndo watu ambao wanasemaga ukweli. Ukiona mtu amelewa, alafu unasikia mtu anazungumza, tafadhali kuwa makini sana, ujaribu kusikia kile ambacho huyo mtu anakisema, kwa sababu huyo mtu, hao ndo wale watu ambao wamebeba information. There are very crucial informations that these are the only people that normally holds. So I want us to listen to this shit boy before we get back into the discussion. Listen to him.
Kwa nimekufa, nipeleka mochari.
Nani alikuwa ulipeleka wapi?
Unapeleka mocha. Walikufa wakuwa 32.
Wale wana.
Wako
Let me ask this. Sometimes I normally ask myself that does these people or do William Samoei sometimes just sit down and listens to what he has been saying? Does he have time that after speaking during the day, he sits down maybe in his office or maybe in his house or maybe on his bed and bedroom and then listens to what he said during the day, whether it's when it's being played on news or maybe somewhere on social media? Because sometimes you wonder, where did this guy come from? Literally, how did this guy come into existence? Or did he exist different from the way maybe we were born, or maybe he came from another planet and came to Kenya? Or how did he come to existence? Because there is a leader, and listening to a leader speaking sometimes makes you think otherwise. The president is saying that he supports the police brutality. Murkomen is saying that police are supposed to shoot to kill, and then he comes back and tells us that there is nowhere on record. There is nowhere on record where he was heard saying that police are supposed to shoot people to kill. Those are leaders, imagine. At one point, the president is asking us Kenyans that we should tell him how to go, because we're normally saying RUTO must go, but we don't have a way out. Now, he's asking us Kenyans to tell him how we must go. Now, there's this guy here with a very good question, a very brutal question. The president, you are asking us to tell you how you're supposed to go. The way you came is the way you're supposed to go. People are tired. Let us listen to this guy.
Lakini sasa president anasema kwamba si niende aje, wende aje, ulikuja aje kwa nisiwende. Hiyo si uulize, ile kitu ambaye aliyoko tulimpatia kibarua akaa miaka 5 na amelemewa kwa mwaka wa 3 aende. Simbu aneclear. Si story nyingi tunasema tukiongea tu, nataka niende wapi? Unataka kuja wapi? Kwani ulikuwa umetoka wapi ukija? Mahali ulitoka nenda hapo. Hatutaki story yako. Na unastahili ulitoka Sugui, si ni Sugui ama ni Sugua. Wewe nenda ukaa huko, utapanda ile kitu utapanda. Na kuna jambo ambalo nataka kuambia. Mwizi wa kuku hawezi kuwa mwelevu. Na sifikishe zaidi hapo. Mwizi wa kuku hawezi kuwa mtu mwelevu. Na hiyo ndio sababu mko na hiyo shida hii. Mimi nimehama hapo.
I've told you that people are tired, and to make you understand that people are tired, even primary kids, even the generation X, the generation Alpha. I think it's Alpha, if I'm not wrong. The Gen Alpha have started acting dramas in schools with the RUTO must go chants. So that one tells you that there's a generation that is coming. You know, after RUTO will have retired, there is a book. I think people will write a book, and there is no one who is going to be hated with all generations in this country if not William Ruto, because the seed that he has planted, it will force him now to reap what he sow, because what you sow is what you reap. You can't reap good. You can't reap good and you planted bad. No. That is exactly what is going to happen. That is exactly what is happening. William Ruto has planted a seed, and that seed is going to be very difficult for anybody to believe that William Ruto as the president is a good person. Now, I want us to listen to him speaking. Yesterday he was speaking when he was hosting the police officers, and it's like he was trying to say that I'm going to support police officers. If a police officer shoots anybody, yeah, it's like he's backing that statement of Murkomen, that he just shoot, do the shooting, and then we are Kenyans, we as leaders, we will protect you. Police officer, nobody will protect you. Where is Talam right now? Langati somewhere enjoying his life, yet Talam and his people are the one that now are paying the price of following orders. After following orders and then you shoot someone, you'll be arraigned in court alone. These guys will be nowhere to be seen. That is a fact. They will be nowhere to be seen.
Protests, as per the Constitution, must be peaceful and must be undertaken by people who are unarmed. What we saw last week were riots. They were not protests. People armed with all manner of weapons, threatening the police, beating up citizens, burning shops. That is not what is allowed in the Constitution. That is criminal. That is an act of terrorism against citizens of this country. And we have a duty and a responsibility to deal with it firmly, decisively, conclusively. Let me also tell every police officer who wakes up early, puts their lives on the line to be able to secure our children, our families, and our nation, that as you do that, we will equally, and we are equally obligated to make sure that we secure your families, your children, and yourself. And the government of Kenya, and myself as president, I will make sure that in the discharge of your duties, every security officer is equally secured by the people of Kenya. We cannot have a country where criminals are running after police officers, where police officers are fleeing because their lives are in danger. If the life of a police officer is in danger, then whose life is safe? The moment we allow the life of a police officer who is supposed to secure our children and our families to be in danger, then our children and families and nation is not safe. Let's just put it that way. And therefore, we have a responsibility and an obligation to make sure that those who secure our families, children, and nation are secure themselves. Yes, you cannot secure others if you are not safe. And for our men and women in uniform to be safe, we must give them the equipment for them to be safe so that they can secure our nation, our families, our properties, and our children. Officers, I want to tell you, it is our responsibility as a nation it is my responsibility as president to make sure that you are safe, your families are safe, so that you can secure and make our country safe. And that I will do, and I will go out of my way. I am going to stand for every man and woman in uniform who is doing the duty of securing our families, children, and nation. I will be there to make sure that they are not threatened, that they are safe, their children are safe, and their families are safe. Because that is the only way they can in turn secure our nation, our families, and our children. And I will mobilize every source of government to make sure that this nation is safe. I want to ask citizens, if you threaten the police, if you harm the police, who are supposed to provide security for you and your families and your children, you are actually setting up yourself for failure. Because once you do not have security provided by the state, then gangs are going to take over. Instead of the rule of law, we will have the rule of something else. For us to have a secure nation, we must first secure the people who provide security for us. They must be safe. There is no way a person who is under siege, a person who is threatened, a person who is insecure and unsafe, there is no way they can secure anybody or make any place safe. We will have a conversation with the judiciary and all the other actors, members of parliament. I think it is time we have a law that will regulate how we carry out demonstrations in Kenya. We must protect the right of those who want to demonstrate, picket, and protest. But equally, we must also protect the right of those who don't want to participate in the demonstration. They want to go about their business, they want to go to work, they want to do their, they want to carry out their other responsibilities. There must be room for everybody. And as has been suggested, we must have places like what happens globally. You know, protests cannot be in other people's businesses. Protests cannot be in schools or places where people are doing other things. We must have designated areas with time, place, and those organizing. And those organizing protests must be decent enough to provide whatever it is that is at issue so that it can be attended to. So I am sure Parliament is going to provide the legislation for us to make sure that all the provisions of the Constitution are respected, those of protesters and those who, the people who are not protesters. Designated areas so that there is no destruction of people's property, there is no loss of life because it is not necessary. We have a nation with great potential. Kenya is a wonderful nation. It is our responsibility to make this nation great. And I have no doubt in my mind, challenges notwithstanding, I have no doubt in my mind that this nation is going to change for the better and we are going to move this country to the next level. I am determined And I am persuaded that Kenya is going to change for the better. We have a societal issue. We have a challenge that we will attend to as parents, as leaders, religious, political, and all other leaders. The challenge we have with our children is a challenge that cannot be sorted out by government. It cannot be sorted out by police. It has to be a whole of society engagement. We have to get a whole of a society engagement so that we can deal with the societal problem we have. It cannot be business as usual if 80 police vehicles have been burnt. When tens of police stations have been burnt, uniforms stolen, firearms stolen, it cannot be business as usual. It cannot be business as usual. We have to agree that things must change. For us, as government, for the security agencies, and for citizens as well. We are going to change the way we do business so that we can have a nation to live in.
And I'm saying this with all humility. I cannot order an Inspector General of Police on anything because the Constitution denies me to do so. And I did not order the Inspector General or any police officer to carry out any extrajudicial anywhere. Your Excellency, what I did was to state the law. And as a lawyer, I have studied, read this law, and I understand what the law says. And what I told the police officers is, if you will not find me anywhere where I said somebody should be shot to be killed, you will not find me anywhere where I said that a police officer should take orders from myself. No. I restated the law and reminded them what the law says. And for the benefit of those, Your Excellency, who have been speaking out there, I want to read for them the National Police Service Act, Section 61(2), and Schedule, particularly Schedule 6B1. Your Excellency is very clear on the use of firearm. And I want to read it verbatim. It says, Your Excellency, that firearms may only be used when less extreme means are inadequate and for the following purposes. 1, saving or protecting the life of the officer or other persons. 2, in self-defense or in defense of other persons against the imminent threat of life or serious injury. C, protection of life and property through justifiable use of force. D, preventing a person charged with a felony from escaping lawful custody. 5, or E, preventing a person who attempts to rescue or rescue a person charged with felony from escaping lawful custody. Your Excellency, I'm not the one who wrote the law. The law says a police officer, when faced with a situation of a threat of his life, must be able to use the firearm. When a police officer is attacked or a police station is burned, no church leader will speak. No foreign envoy will speak. These so-called opposition leaders will speak. If all these people do not speak, and I am the cabinet secretary in charge of these police officers, and I am a lawyer, and I don't speak for them, who will? Who will do that? I have, as a cabinet secretary, to lead from the front. Some people don't know the life that police officers go through. Yesterday, when we were with the police officers who were going to the border, do people know how much they put their life in the line for them to fight Al-Shabaab, sleeping in Boni Forest, around the borders of this country, putting their lives to save citizens in the country? And then it has become so fashionable for all of us to close our ears. And particularly when sometimes police stations are banned, people think, it is police, forget about it. But when you go, if you go to Kikuyu now, where I went 2 days, we went with the IG and the PS and the team. We found that the entire Kikuyu law courts were banned. Everything, exhibits, people's title deeds that were deposited in the court, documents, of all kind, were raised down, and the court was completely banned, Your Excellency. And I don't know what the relationship between the court and the Maandamano. So nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. And we are requesting our judges, as they make the decisions they make. Unfortunately, we do not have the luxury, if the country bans, that they do have, to sit down and make the decisions they make. If the country bans, nobody will be spared. Not a politician, not a cabinet secretary, not a judge, not a police officer. We need there is a feeling that the judiciary is leaving the safety of the country to executive. And then they do their things as they wish. It is time that we have a conversation in what the Deputy President has always talked about what is national interest. And what is that brings us together as all arms of government. When Parliament was invaded last year, I think message became clear to the members of Parliament about what is happening. I think judiciary needs now to come in so that we can work together as three arms of government to protect our nation. If we have to switch off media sources to save media and to save the citizens, we will do it, because we want to save our country from banning. We want to save them from irresponsible journalism. But we also request the media, if they are going to regulate themselves, nobody is going to bother, because we have been accused, we have been criticized. We are not averse to criticism. The only thing we want to tell them is that in the security sector, these men and women here helping you, Your Excellency, to deal with security, they don't have the luxury, Your Excellency, to debate. At that moment, critical moment for our country, the first thing they want to see is first their country becomes safe. Nobody here, including the IG, would like to go into the book of history that the country banned when they were holding office. Not us, not the IG, not everybody here. At that moment, we can go and debate with media. They can call us for interviews. We can debate with the judiciary when we know that the country is safe. The first call of duty for everybody sitting here is the safety of the country first, before we can debate on other issues.
You must realize that you are the leaders. There is no other leader that you are going to be looking up to in support of what you do. You have officers who are below you, and they look up to you to be able to do the right thing, to be able to guide them, to be able to direct them. And the officers who work below you never get an opportunity to listen to the president like you do. And it is our expectation that when you get back to your stations, to the counties, to the regions, you are able to properly engage and steer them.